Fanatic, degenerate, sociopath, and criminal, Sheriff Todd Baxter. Fanatic, degenerate, sociopath, and criminal, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. And bald-headed, wig-wearing criminal Paula Metzler of Penfield Town Court. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime. Bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. I want to be absolutely clear about what I'm communicating to you. I will never appear in Penfield Town Court. I will have to be physically attacked and deposited in front of you just like I was on August 30th because you are an assembly line of guilt. When you tell me the name of the citizen in Penfield, New York that has been acquitted in Penfield Town Court, I may decide to go into your repulsive, nauseating, disgusting star chamber, be declared guilty. And you, Paula Metzler, have no interest whatsoever as to the facts of why a defendant is just in your star chamber. Just like 70-year-old John P. Lomenzo Jr. and James P. Mully Jr., you have no interest in why a defendant is in there. Because you exist to proclaim someone guilty, and you love doing that. You love destroying lives. Bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. And since you cannot obey the law yourself, well, I'm demanding a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court. Fuck you, bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. I will never appear in Penfield Town Court. I'm going to tell you the way the United States of America works. Bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. A little town judge in a little town court doesn't summon an innocent American into a library to declare that American guilty. That's not the way the United States of America works. Where's the jury? Sandra Doorley, when you have a jury for me to face, then I'll go into a courtroom because the jury doesn't send me anywhere but home. I go home with a jury of 12. How do you abide the abomination that is a bench trial? How do you allow that? Because you know, Sandra Doorley and Todd Baxter, you can send innocent citizens into these repulsive, disgusting, vile, sick star chambers with someone like 70-year-old Paula C. Metzler and have that person declared guilty. You can validate any criminal charge you want. I'm waiting for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to show up and start banging on the side of my residence, the front door of my residence, the sliding glass door. In a previous YouTube, I believe I called it hatred. They were here while I was on YouTube. And they were outside screaming my name, banging on the front door, the side door, the sliding glass door in the back. So Todd Baxter, for 18 months, I've been describing you and your criminal operation as a collection of fanatic, degenerate sociopaths, and your fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths from your criminal operation arrived. Did you see that, YouTube? Because I'm going to send that to the Department of Justice. They are screaming my name in fanaticism, Todd Baxter. How do you explain that to the people of Monroe County when you run for re-election? Please run for re-election, you bald-headed fascist stooge. You have been concocting crimes for me for 18 plus months, and I've never committed a crime. I'm 55 years old. In the 30 years since I was honorably discharged as a 22-year-old Sergeant E5 from 2nd Squadron, 17 Cavalry, 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, on May 27th, 1988, I have one speeding ticket. I need to suddenly lose the ability to make a distinction between right and wrong, legal and illegal. You don't know how to make a distinction between right and wrong, legal and illegal. Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, and bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. I'll go into Penfield Town Court, Sheriff Baxter, when you can tell me how I'm committing a crime right outside my residence. This is where I live. That's the trees. This is going to be criminal contempt second. I speak to your nauseating hack, Shannon Meyer, on the phone for an hour. I have no idea she's writing a warrant for my arrest. And your nauseating hack, Shannon Meyer, got together with Steve Desmond. They cut the grass for this Broccolo tree lawn care next to my residence that hasn't been here for 7 years. And they decided how to get me to come out of the house. There was real crime in Monroe County, and here is $67,000 Shannon Meyer meeting with a civilian and using a civilian to get to my residence. His name is Steve Desmond. I've said this to him. There's nothing from him. You used the civilian to get to my residence after Shannon Meyer met with him. You concocted this crime for me. I was in jail for what I'm about to tell you. These next two. This is why I will never go into Penfield Town Court. Fuck you, bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. You'll have to come and get me. And come and get me, Todd Baxter. I walk out one day. I stand right here. I say nobody owns that land and walk back in my house. How's that a crime, Todd Baxter? You will have to explain that to the Department of Justice. You have to explain how that's criminal contempt second. 6 of your fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths from here. I'm waiting for them to start banging on the side of the residence. It's probably going to happen. I'll guess it'll happen. I want to be precise with my language. I'll guess that that'll happen. While I'm here, they'll start ringing the doorbell and banging on the door, just like they did in the last 48 hours. How's that a crime? When you tell me how it's a crime to walk outside, stand here, say nobody owns that land, and walk back in my house, I'll go into Penfield Town Court to be declared guilty. Because when I'm walking through that parking lot for the 4,000th time, Elliot Ross says to me, you're going to be arrested, and I don't know what he's talking about. He works at this business at 2025 Penfield Road. You know where that is, Todd Baxter. You bought that camera called a surveillance device. You bought a surveillance device from me, you bald-headed, party-switching fascist stooge. And I'm going to tell the United States Department of Justice, you bald-headed, party-switching fascist stooge, that you bought a surveillance device from me and only me. So, I go to the now-defunct PW Fitness. Todd, why is Andrew Reale still employed $79,000? What would you think if this happened to Kevin Baxter? I'm going to give a hypothetical for Kevin Baxter. Kevin Baxter walks into PW Fitness on Penfield Road. He walks to the back. He sits on a bench press. Up walks to Kevin Baxter, Jermaine C. Bedman. Jermaine C. Bedman goes like this to Kevin Baxter. Kevin Baxter replies, I'll be 30 seconds. He leans down on the bench press. Jermaine C. Bedman punches down the head of Kevin Baxter, snapped back violently. Jermaine C. Bedman walks away. A witness calls the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. $79,000 Andrew Reale arrives. Kevin Baxter goes outside. He is told by $79,000 Andrew Reale to sit in the back seat of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle. While Andrew Reale talks to Jermaine Bedman, the man that just committed this violent crime, snapped the head back of Kevin Baxter. What crime did Kevin Baxter commit? What's the name of the human being Kevin Baxter is harassing? Andrew Reale walks Jermaine Bedman around to the side of the vehicle. Kevin Baxter looks to his left. And Jermaine Bedman says these 7 words. I want to press charges against you. With those 7 words, Kevin Baxter is charged with arrest. Second, Todd Baxter. What is the name of the human being Kevin Baxter is harassing? What would Mrs. Todd Baxter think if Kevin Baxter was charged with harassment? Second, sitting in the backseat of the vehicle, because that's exactly what happened to me. I bet Mrs. Todd Baxter would be in a rage about that. I had to tell my mother and father about these 2 disgusting concoctions. And I explained it in even greater detail. My mother cried. This should never happen in the United States of America to an innocent citizen. No son should ever hear his mother cry on the phone when he hasn't committed a crime. He has to explain what I just explained. Todd Baxter, when I was demanding the payroll, refused to open your mail. We showed us the Department of Justice refused. You, Todd Baxter, are afraid to open your mail from me. What's it say about you? A sheriff that's afraid to open his mail. It's certified. I just put this in the mail. You can open it, ignore it, throw it away. You refused to sign because you knew I was demanding public employee payroll. Your entire existence, tax paid dollars, and you were refusing. Bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. I will never go into Penfield Town Court, and this is the property. How does anybody own that land? What would you think if they're here at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're sleeping with Mrs. Fascist Stooge, Todd the Fascist Stooge, and here they are. They haven't been here for 7 years, and suddenly they're here. What do you think I'm going to think? Shannon Meyer concocted that crime for me. We tell the United States Department of Justice she did this, and she also concocted this, where I'm a defendant on a piece of paper. I've said this now repeatedly 50 plus times. Back to defendant. How does this document exist at the sheriff's office, an accusatory instrument, where I don't even know I'm a defendant? I don't know this document exists. I'm not even called when this was written. I was called after I knew about it. And then I talked to Shannon Meyer. She is a freak show. I had to hold the phone away and look at it a few times because she's not responding to answers. Because everything I'm saying here, I've said to her. That the defendant on the above date, approximately 1440 hours, did knowingly enter or remain unlawfully in upon the premises 2041 Penfield or Penfield North by walking through the parking lot, being told by certified mail and by police he's not allowed on the property. I didn't get anything by certified mail. There's nothing from them with my signature. So that's a lie. The property is a parking lot. And as I've shown it to you, there's 2 people walking through it right here. There's 2 of my neighbors. Every day people walk through this parking lot. Do you want their address? These are my neighbors right here. Are Layla Kumar and A-Rod Shah running off to Shannon Meyer about my neighbors? After the fireworks at Harris Wellen Park in 2018 and 2019, as a big event in Penfield. 200 people walked through this parking lot in a 15-minute period that I saw. Penfield High School band students walked through that parking lot. If it's a crime to walk through that parking lot, a Penfield High School band student should have been arrested. Why? Why don't you arrest the Penfield High School band student? So, hatred, official beverage of hatred. Kool-Aid. You're Kool-Aid drinkers at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. I'm going to prove it right now that you Kool-Aid drinkers. The law is a joke to you. Kool-Aid drinkers live in a delusional fantasy land. And since I'm demanding you comply with the law, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, Sheriff Todd Baxter, and bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzler, I'll start with you, the bald-headed fanaticism. The name, charge, and sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court for John P. Metzler Jr., James P. Molly Jr., Paula Metzler. That was sent to you on December 16th. And you received the same document on December 17th, December 26th, December 27th, December 28th, December 29th, December 30th, January 2nd, January 3rd, January 5th, January 6th. Over and over and over, Paula Metzler. Guilty, 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 guilty. How is that explained to the United States Department of Justice that everybody's guilty in Penfield Town Court? Bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzler and James P. Molly Jr., who has more hair than bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzler. It can't be explained. Corruption can't be explained. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime. Freedom of information law. The internal disciplinary records of documentation for employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. That Sheriff Todd K. Baxter has reprimanded, terminated, disciplined from employment at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Fire $79,000 Andrew Yalley. Fire $67,000 Shannon Meyer. And Don Benedetto, I believe he's paid $85,000, who's the one that was hiding in the bushes, and I'm going to get to that ran across the street at me to concoct a felony on my back porch, which I just explained within the last 48 hours. Your employee, Don Benedetto, walked onto the private property of my neighbor, and there were more people there. He was there at one point. I don't know if he was one of the two that ran at me. And what are their names? There were at least 5 of them here. When you tell me the names of your 5 fanatics, degenerates, sociopaths, and criminals that were here, I'll consider going to Penfield Town Court. Where's the jury, Sandra Doorley? There is no jury. When you can find a jury of 12 for me, Sandra Doorley, then I'll go into a courtroom. Because I'm not going to go in there and just to be declared guilty by bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzler. That's insanity. That's already happened to me twice. I will not do that again. Fuck you, bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzler. Freedom of information law. The internal disciplinary record of documentation for employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office of District Attorney Sandra Doorley. That District Attorney Sandra Doorley has disciplined, reprimanded, terminated from employment at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Should a district attorney in your office, Sandra Doorley, he doesn't talk as any innocent citizen of Monroe County is delivered to jail, be fired? And the answer to that is yes. What are the names of your 2 prosecutors that didn't talk? And you will refuse to answer because you are a joke. The law is a joke to you. I'm waiting for your employees to get here, Todd. Start banging on my walls. This wall here, the wall on the side of the residence, banging on the front door, screaming my name. Are they going to be here? As this is now at 13 minutes, are they going to be here screaming my name again? Did you see that? Did you see that YouTube where your employees are screaming my name and banging on the front door, banging on the side door? I had multiple neighbors come over to my residence after this. They said, what is happening to you? What are they doing to you? That's right. What is happening to me? What are they doing to you? And my answer is fanaticism and corruption. Fanaticism and corruption refuses to send a public employee payroll when the entire public employee payroll is tax dollars. Send me the latest public employee payroll. I want to compare it to the one I have that Lee LaRoe didn't take out of the residence. I'm going to put the raises on YouTube. I hope you're giving $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 raises. And I'm also going to talk about the minors. You employ minors, right? You employ the children of the Monroe County Sheriff Office employees. How do you explain that to the New York State Controller? That is nepotism. Nepotism enrages voters. I'm trying to remove you from office, and I'm trying to defeat you in the primary. And I'm confident after I'm done doing what I'm doing, and your primary date arrives in the Democratic primary, right? You will lose in the primary. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd K. Baxter, send it to me. That's the law. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, send it to me. That's the law. I want to take the salaries, especially for your 6-figure assistant district attorneys. I believe it's 14. You have 14 public employees at the district attorney's office who make $100,000. Isn't that right? For example, Raymond Benitez, $117,798. Was that you, Raymond Benitez, who stood in Penfield Town Court and didn't talk the second time? Was that you? Were you the 5'2", 3-piece suit boy who didn't talk for $117,000? What's not to understand about this, Madam District Attorney? Do you have to switch parties again? Do you and Todd have to get together and talk about how you want to be in a new party, Republican or Democrat? I mean, what party do you want to join? Do you want to join the Whigs? Huh? Todd, you would be terrific in the Whigs because given that bald head, you can put the wig right on your fanatical cranium. Surprised they're not here banging on the walls, banging on the front doors, screaming my name. What do you think the United States Department of Justice is going to think about that descent on my life, Todd Baxter? Got a 40-hour week. What happens when public employees work the 41st hour? When I was a public employee in Albany for the governor majority leader, when I was a public employee in Washington, D.C. for Congressman Morris Smith and Senator Olympia Snowe, there was no overtime. Your salary is what you agreed upon when you were hired. What do you pay public employees, Todd Baxter, when they work the 41st hour? And I believe your public employees would drive around on purpose to accumulate overtime hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, and 20 hours, because it's greed of the heart. You have a caseload at the attorney's office, right, Perry Duckles? What do you pay your employees when they work beyond that 41st hour? And what you're thinking right there at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office, he needs to be arrested for demanding this accountability from us, because this is what fanaticism thinks. Your fanaticism at the district attorney's office, sheriff's office. I got the law in my hand. You've been ignoring these for 18 months, over and over and over. 500 Freedom of Information Law documents. You've complied with 2. When I finally got the payroll for the district attorney's office, sheriff's office. Total cost of overtime, time and a half, well-paid beyond base salaries calculated at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd Baxter. How's that done? Do you have a list of your overtime employees? The top 10. What happens if you have someone's making $75,000? There's on one page, I think there were about 12 in a row that were making $75,000. It's bizarre, these numbers, too. They're not rounded off. So these people that make approximately $70,000 earn $100,000 or more. Do you have somebody that's in the vicinity of $70,000 and suddenly they're at $100,000 because of overtime? Do you have lists, a list of your employees that are paid $100,000 when overtime is calculated? And what you will do is refuse. Total cost of overtime, time and a half, well-paid beyond base salaries calculated at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley. How's that done, Perry Duckles? Perry Duckles, did you just work in that 41st hour? Are you? Gina Clark at $72,715. Gina, are you working a 40-hour week and that's what you paid? But if you have a caseload, if that's the correct term, you work a 41st hour, what do you pay, Gina? I'm surprised your employees aren't here yet, banging on the side of the wall, screaming my name, banging on the front door, banging on the side of the residence. Are they going to be here now? It's YouTube 17 minutes. I'm waiting for them to arrive. I'm waiting for them. Has anyone come to you, Sheriff Todd Baxter, in all likelihood a female, and said, I'm being sexually harassed, and described in detail about that sexual harassment? Because that's a general term. It's a man asking a woman out on a date over and over and over. She's under siege. No, it's a man constantly touching a woman at work. She says, leave me alone. Don't touch me. It's a man sending a woman lewd emails with jokes that are oftentimes laden with misogyny. Has that happened? Do you know what sexual harassment is? As you understand the term, have you used taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and you will refuse to answer? What do you think the people of Monroe County are going to think? Todd K. Baxter, if you had to settle a sexual harassment lawsuit because your own employees are breaking the law. The cost of taxpayers, Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter spending taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to apply to Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Payroll for Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Laura L. Michaels, $79,088. Laura L. Michaels, you're being sexually harassed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Todd Baxter, I hope you're not. What is the environment, Laura L. Michaels, at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? How would you describe your male employees? How do they act? Freedom of Information Law. The cost of taxpayers of Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley spending taxpayer dollars on employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Payroll for the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Barbara Davies, $40,923. Barbara Davies, the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. You're being sexually harassed by male co-workers at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley. I hope you're not. What's the answer to those questions? Party switching Sheriff of Monroe County, Todd Baxter, party switching District Attorney, Monroe County, Sandra Doorley. Tell me the answer. Is it yes or is it no? And you refuse to answer. When you refuse to answer something like that, it's easy to make a conclusion as to what the answer is. Todd Baxter, you know what a surveillance device is? Do you know what a surveillance device does? Because Mike Pompeo at the Central Intelligence Agency will purchase surveillance devices, failed terrorist, and you purchased one for me and put it on the building at 2025 Penfield Road and lied about it. The cost of a surveillance device purchased with taxpayer dollars by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter and fixed to a building at 2025 Penfield Road to monitor Christopher Childs, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, walks through the parking lot next to the building. Should never happen in the United States of America. To an innocent man, you lied about this repeatedly. That's it right there. That's it. And you can see it. If you drive through that parking lot and walk through that parking lot, you can walk through that parking lot, employees at the district attorney's office and sheriff's office are not being arrested. That's it. That's why Elliot Roth, who works at this building, 2025 Penfield Road, called Consumer Insights, says to me, you're going to be arrested. Isn't that right, Elliot? Taking pleasure in what they're going to do to me and walking through a parking lot 4,000 times I've walked through it. And you say to me, Elliot Roth, you're going to be arrested because you know that they came to that building and you're a civilian, Elliot. Why don't you just come over to my residence? Because I would have done that for you. I would have said, I would have knocked on this door if the roles were reversed. And I would have said to you, I know we don't necessarily like each other, but I want you to know the Monroe County Sheriff Office, Todd K. Baxter, came and put this camera on a building. And they're going to concoct the crime for you and walk through that parking lot. And you can see that camera on this building. I would have done that because I wouldn't want to see your civil and constitutional rights violated, Elliot. I wouldn't want to see you arrested when you're not committing a crime. I would have did that. And there you are with that smile of hatred on your face, taking pleasure in telling me you're going to be arrested when I'm walking through the parking lot for the 4,000th time. And I'm the only American to be arrested for walking through that parking lot, thanks to $67,000 Shannon Meyer. This next foil makes me sick to my stomach. The cost of taxpayers for photography session approved by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter photographed 10 public employees underwater in a pool. No, I didn't make that up. You're refusing over and over and over, 50 plus times. You're going to refuse the next one too, about Ryan Fisher. Why? Where was this picture taken? This was on your Facebook page. Is your employees underwater in a pool? Why? Why is the American flag in the background? This is the dive team for Lake Ontario. A training exercise? That's a lie. Your employee told me this is a training exercise. This is Fun City. There is no training going on. This is ludicrous. And you're ludicrous, Todd Baxter. Did you expend taxpayer dollars on this training exercise? The answer is yes. And I'm going to tell the New York State Controller that you should be audited. And this is one of the examples I'm going to use for why you should be audited. You can't just contact the Controller's office and say, audit this government elected official. You have to have evidence. You have to have reasons to do it. And this is going to be evidence and reasons to do it. When I send this picture and I say this is on their Facebook page and they're refusing to disclose how much they paid, because if it's a training exercise, it's done on taxpayer time. You had to rent the pool. I swim in the pool at the YMCA. If I was at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and wanted to take this picture, if I was the one organizing this picture, I would have to go to the employees at the YMCA and say, can we use your pool? This is time consuming. So what pool was this taken in? How much did you expend? It's training exercise, tax dollars were spending. Where's the pool? How much did you pay? And this is why you need to be audited, because you won't answer me. Who the hell am I? I'm just a citizen and a voter. I'm going to say that again. When I contact the controller and demand that you be audited, I'm going to send him that picture, and that's going to be 500 to 1,000 words on that alone. And this is also why I'm going to say you should be audited. Your employees should never be out of Monroe County ever. There's no reason for your employees to be out of Monroe County. One thing I'm going to demand soon is if you're sending your employees to these pathetic conferences where you sit around and talk about how wonderful it is to be a cop and whine about how tough the job is, which I've ridiculed in a previous YouTube. Freedom of Information Law. The cost of a hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff employee Ryan Fisher to attend the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019 with his canine dog Lola. Here he is. Is Atlanta, Georgia in the state of New York, Todd Baxter? Is Atlanta, Georgia in Monroe County, Todd Baxter? Is Atlanta, Georgia in Rochester, New York, Todd Baxter? Do you know the answer to that question? Why was he here? For the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl. This is him in uniform. When I was in the 101st Airborne Division, if you were wearing your uniform and you were away from the 101st in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, or Clarksville, Tennessee, the two local towns, you were still on duty. If you were in uniform and you are a police officer. You're on duty. Here he is with his dog outside Mercedes-Benz Stadium, 2,000 miles away in Atlanta, Georgia. How do you explain this photograph with your employee in Atlanta, Georgia, when you run for re-election? And you want people to know about it? Kathleen Miller, Michael Radler, William Tadeo, your $101,000 salary. Scott Alberti, did you write this tweet? You want people to know about it. I'm going to give you advice about how to be corrupt, Todd, in the future. When you send your employees on a junket, which enrages taxpayers, don't tell anybody about it. Quote, as we get ready to watch the Super Bowl, we are grateful to the men and women assigned to keep fans and players safe here in Atlanta, including MCSO and Deputy Fisher and K9 Lola. Deputy Fisher sent this photo from Atlanta. Thank you both for your service! Exclamation point. And here he is. I mean, he's got this look on his face like he's ready to run up a mountain in Afghanistan and try to find, a Taliban or Al-Qaeda or ISIS member here. What's he doing down here with this ferocious look on his face with this dog? You can't really see because it's black and white, but with the color photo, I mean, does he think he's Rambo here with his dog in Atlanta, Georgia? And here he is with a better look. His countenance is much better. And Ryan, I love that little badge you bought there for Lola. And that is a beautiful German Shepherd, Ryan. You picked the right dog there. But did you pay taxpayer dollars for this dog? What the badge is? Every canine at the Monroe County Sheriff Office have a dog. You know what, Todd? I'm going to try not to laugh. Sometimes levity helps when your life is under siege by fanaticism and corruption. Does every canine have a badge? Did you spend taxpayer dollars? Does every canine at the Monroe County Sheriff Office have a little badge here like this beautiful German Shepherd for Ryan Fisher? Ryan, did you requisition this badge here for Lola so Lola can be an honorary deputy at the Monroe County Sheriff Office? And Ryan, what does Excelsior mean? Ryan Fisher, do you know that this is the flag in New York? I used to see this flag all the time when I worked in the Capitol. There was a separate display for flags of New York going back to 1801. I love this flag, Excelsior. Ryan Fisher, do you know that Excelsior means ever higher? Are you ever higher at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Ryan Fisher? Because here you are with this nauseating, sickening, disgusting stars and bars. That was the flag of Georgia to 2003. I'm going to guess, Ryan, you saw this flag within 48 hours when you got off the plane in Atlanta, Georgia, which is not in Rochester, New York. How long, Ryan, did it take you to see the stars and bars, the official symbol of a redneck? You look like what a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee is supposed to be. Todd Baxter, lose weight. You're overweight. What other physical training standards, requirements at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd Gate Baxter? That's a question, Todd, the fascist dudes. You have none. Correct? Because you're refusing to answer. What are the standards? What are the training standards? Leah LaRoque, your employee who came in here with these blue gloves, this sickening hack with her illegal search warrant, is in the vicinity of 40 pounds overweight. Leah, lose weight. And tell your fellow fanatics, degenerates, sociopaths, and criminals at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to lose weight. Todd, I'm waiting for your fanatics to start banging on the wall here on the side of the residence, banging on the sliding glass door, banging on my front door, screaming my name outside. When's that going to happen again? Let's see, this is 28 minutes now. They haven't arrived yet? When are they going to be here? The day and year Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter rehired Michael Radler after his 20-plus year career with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office ended. What do you do with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Michael Radler, for $0? When I looked at the payroll, I saw your name, and I thought you were a double dipper. Being a double dipper collecting 2 paychecks enrages taxpayers. You're not a double dipper. How do you go into the office for $0? Are you paid any sum of money from any organization or institution connected to Todd Baxter? Connected. They know him. He knows them. He has political ties to it and connections over it. Connected. You know what connected means? Are you paid any sum of money, Michael Radler? Because when I contact the New York State Controller, one of the questions that I'm going to demand that Todd Baxter is asked is if you are employed at the Monroe County Sheriff Office and you are paid private money. And if that's the fact, I don't know if it is. If you are paid private money to go into work at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, that is news, Michael Radler. The name in charge of every inmate of Monroe County Jail, the name in charge of every inmate of Monroe County Sheriff's Todd K. Baxter's Monroe County Jail from January 1, 2018 to January 9, 2021. Who is at your jail? Separate your inmates, nonviolent from violent. It's that simple. And go to your jail. I've said this repeatedly. Go to your jail and ask the superintendent, if that's his name, if the inmates are separated. Because when I was there as an innocent man, they're not. I'm in there with the murderers, the rapists, the arsonists. It's a disgrace. You have to be told this. Perhaps you do this now, because I've been saying this repeatedly on YouTube, and I know you watch me because you're coming here with your fanaticism. Separate and segregate your inmates for their own safety. Sandra Doorley, tell me your name. This is why I'm not going into Penfield Town Court ever. Paula Metzler, I'm never going to Penfield Town Court. Fuck you, Paula Metzler. Documentation for the case of Christopher Childs with John P. Lorenzo Jr. Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. She stood there in total silence as I'm delivered to jail. How am I delivered to jail when the prosecutor doesn't talk? That's insanity. It's insane to go in there. I will not allow that to happen to me again. Documentation for the case of Christopher Childs with Paula Metzler, Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. I'm going to repeat what I've said repeatedly. This 5'2", 3-piece suit boy walks to Paula Metzler and gives her a piece of paper. I don't know what's on it. That delivers me to jail. Bald-headed wig wearing Paula Metzler. I'm going to write a foil for that piece of paper. I'm also, Sandra Doorley, going to send a foil to you about his name, and I want to know what was on that piece of paper he handed to Paula Metzler. I don't know what's on it as a defendant that is about to deliver me to jail. What was on that piece of paper that you read, Paula Metzler, you handed by this 5'2", 3-piece suit boy? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Total silence from this boy. And it doesn't even concern you at all, Paula Metzler, that there's total silence. There's total silence from him. There's total silence from the female before John P. Lorenzo Jr. because I haven't committed a crime. I have never committed a crime. Where are they, Todd? They're supposed to be banging on my side of my residence, screaming my name, banging on the front door. Where are they at this YouTube at 32 minutes? I'm surprised they're not here. I really am. They're supposed to be here. The blue gloves of fanaticism, $91,000 Lee LaRoque. Lee LaRoque, you're paid $91,000 to wear these blue gloves in my house. And Leah, search warrant. Paula Metzler, did you type this search warrant in your library courtroom when Lee LaRoque was present? Did you type this search warrant by yourself with contact communication from Lee LaRoque? This doesn't have any type of identifying mark. It just says search warrant. State of New York, County of Monroe. Documents have numbers. So the public employee that goes to the file or cabinet or wherever it is to retrieve the document knows what document to use. There's nothing on this vile piece of paper. It just says search warrant, and you're refusing to answer. I will tell the United States Department of Justice employees, Paula Metzler, that you typed this search warrant in your library courtroom, either with Lee LaRoque in front of you, with Lee LaRoque present, or in communication with Lee LaRoque, because you had to hand this to her. You did hand this to her. And this is what she left on the countertop next to the television. And when I finally got home to jail as an innocent man, I saw this, and I saw her blue gloves, all the papers on the bookcase were thrown on the floor. You lost your mind in here, Lee LaRoque. You lost your mind in here because you had my racing shoes in your hand. Does these look familiar, Lee LaRoque? These Nike racing shoes? Because you had these shoes in your hand because you picked them up and looked inside of them, threw them on the floor about 10 feet in front of me. Because that's where they're supposed to be. That's where they always are, along with the black ones. What are you doing picking up my racing shoes and looking at them? Lee LaRoque, were the only person in here or were there multiple people in here? What's the answer? You will have to answer. How many individuals from the Monroe County Sheriff Office, $91,000 a year Lee LaRoque, were in here? You will pay $91,000 to pick up my running shoes and look at them. You are such an abomination, a joke, a disgusting, repulsive hack. And you're a disgusting, repulsive hack because disgusting, repulsive hack, Paula C. Metzler, empowered you with an unconstitutional search warrant where you left your blue gloves behind. Should never happen. United States of America to an innocent man. This is YouTube's at 34 minutes. Todd, how come they're not here? Where are your employees? Todd, I don't see them. They're not outside banging on the side of the window. They're not out there screaming my name. The Kool-Aid drinkers are not out there. Where are they? So, comply with everything. And you received the same documentation, what I just read, on January 7th. You see the same thing on January 5th. You see the same documentation on January 3rd, January 1st. So, since January 1st, 2021, what I just read, every Freedom of Information law you received 4 previous times for a total of 5. 5 times. Since January 1st, 2021, you received this Freedom of Information law, and you will refuse. I will never go into Penfield Town Court, Paula Metzler. Fuck you, bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzler. I don't care about the concoction of charges. I don't care what happens to me. I'm not going to stand there and allow you to declare me guilty because you're refusing to comply with the law yourself, Paula Metzler, because you refuse to disclose a list of salaries to every single person in Penfield Town Court. And as you, Paula Metzler, as I have read repeatedly, the name, charges, sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court be John P. Metzler, James P. Milley Jr., Paula Metzler. That's the law, and you refuse to comply with it. So fuck you, Paula Metzler. And Paula Metzler, a judge anywhere in the United States of America that refuses to comply with the law is obviously an American psycho, and you, Paula Metzler, you bald-headed, wig-wearing degenerate, are an American psycho. Todd, how's your sex life? How are you doing with your sex life? Because you have an unusual sex life, Todd, because you have a passion for jails. How do you possibly say, I have a passion for jails? How does that language exit your mouth? So, and you're also a drug counselor, Todd, and this is what a joke you are. I'm going to tell you about drug addicts. If a drug addict commits a crime, it doesn't matter if that person's a drug addict. You are not a drug counselor. You're not in a rehabilitation facility here. That's not your job. I don't want to hear about drugs and drug counseling. Your job is to uphold and enforce the law, and you can't uphold and enforce the law because you're a joke and you're a criminal. Quote, Todd Baxter to the Democrat and Chronicle. We had a staff meeting my first day here with 13 people sitting around the table from the sheriff's office, 5 different bureaus, and I charge each one of them to have some kind of foot in the game here. Think about the court bureau. Obviously, a lot of people coming into court are either family members or people suffering from addiction. Just having a drop-in center right in court where family could go right next door to the courtroom, and there'd be a beautiful nonprofit right there and can help the families to negotiate through the process of recovery. If the person's addicted and they're looking for immediate treatment, they can be helped right there. We will become more involved with the county initiatives and the Department of Health and much more involved with law enforcement members, sharing data and sharing intel. Sharing intel. When I say you talk like a freak show, this is it. You're sharing intel? What intel are you sharing? I've been mocking you for buying a surveillance device and putting it on this building because you think you're Mike Pompeo and concocting the crime for me and lying about it. And you're talking about sharing intel in the same language we're talking about drug addicts. Drug addicts are going to be drug addicts if they use drugs and commit crimes, arrest them, and let the rehabilitation process work its way through with the appropriate government bureau. You're not a drug counselor. You're not Mr. Intervention there at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Your job is to enforce the law, and specifically for violent criminals. If drug addicts that are violent criminals commit crimes, arrest their asses, deposit them in jail, with due process, Paula Metzler, and that's all there is to it. I mean, you're not Oprah fucking Winfrey here. Such a joke, a disgrace. And Todd, here's one of your employees here. He's really losing his mind, and that's easy to do when your employees were alongside of my building. And you need to counsel this person. And perhaps, he's a drug addict himself at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. This is Deputy Tony Montana here, and he has his weapon that you issued to him here, and he has some emotional self-control problems, just like you, Todd, because he's screaming, "Say hello to my little friend." So you need to talk to him, Sandra. And as I'm demanding the name of the prosecutor, we didn't talk in Penfield Town Court. I really hope it's Madonna here because I've loved Madonna since 1982, and who wouldn't? So anyway, I try not to laugh. So anyway, Sandra and Todd, you two criminals. I'm demanding the salaries for you public employees. And Todd, you had a fake award ceremony there. That you put on your Facebook page, and I'm demanding how you gave these awards. Jansen McNair, one of your $104,000 cops, your 6-figure cops, he was recognized. And at the ceremony, I'd like to know if you had the Baxter youth there, Todd, when you awarded Jansen McNair $104,000. You can see this is the official uniform here of the Baxter youth. And, I just don't get this, the armband here where it has this thing that goes like this, and then it goes like that. And I don't quite get that. This armband that you have here for the Baxter youth. And are the Baxter youth going to be pounded on my door, ringing the doorbell, pounded on the side of the residence anytime soon? In preparation to be full-time Monroe County Sheriff Office employees? Because, I think this could be a public relations problem here with the Baxter youth, especially, with your fake award ceremony that you had, for Janice McNair making $104,000 and getting a fake award. And I'd like to know if you, Shannon Meyer, when you're not falling down on my backyard dirt, losing your mind. Shannon, at the fake award ceremony, did you receive the clasp of the Iron Cross, Shannon? Did Todd Baxter award you the clasp of the Iron Cross with this big, gigantic bird? And this again, Todd, I don't get this. The official symbol of Monroe County Sheriff's Office. I'm totally confused as to what this is. It has 1939 down here on your award. Todd, are you going to be sitting on top of a tank and invading Poland? Because this says 1939. So I don't understand why you gave Shannon Meyer the clasp of the Iron Cross. I don't get that at all. And, Don Benedetto, was pounding on my door and hid in the bushes there, paid $85,000. Don, we're not hiding in the bushes, 4 or 5 of your other whack jobs. I think the number's 5 that were here at midnight that night on August 30th. Did you, Don, at the fake awards ceremony, receive the Grand Cross, the Iron Cross? And Don, can you help me out here? Because I'm really confused. Todd Baxter is refusing to tell me about the official symbol here of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And Don, when Sheriff Baxter awarded you the Grand Cross, the Iron Cross, was this really heavy, around your neck? When you're losing your mind, walking onto the private property of my neighbor. And, I'm charged with arrest for second by Andrew Reality while I'm not harassing, sitting in the backseat of his vehicle. So, Todd, did you give $79,000 Andrew Reality the Knight's Cross, the Iron Cross? Did Andrew receive this here? Because that is a big, gigantic medal, Todd. And, I hope that didn't cause him any neck pain, when you wrapped it around his neck. So, anyway. Comply with everything you have here. This is YouTube's at 41 minutes. How do you come to my house? Demand my little guy. Why do you think I adopted this Shih Tzu? His name is Alex. When my ex-girlfriend Laura and I went to Lollipop, we wanted to give a dog a home. Nobody wanted. Laura and I went. We were interviewed. One of the questions was, "Do you have a criminal record? You ever been arrested?" And both Laura and I replied, "No." And to this day, as I sit here demanding you comply with the law, I have never committed a crime. So we approved. And we adopted him. And I named him after former WBA lightweight champion Ray Mancini, otherwise known as Boom Boom, because my little guy's champion. I'm going to tell you this again. I've said this 50 plus times, because fanaticism needs to be repeated relentlessly, and I'm relentless. I'm walking my little guy, same way for 7 years and 4,000 times. And this is who you with, these parasites, named Raj and Layla Kumar Shah, Shannon Meyer. The back window from his Shaw law firm flies open. This used to be the office of my dentist, Dr. Gloria Nichols. One of the nicest people anybody could meet. She's still my dentist. I'd walk through the parking lot. She's not calling about anybody walk through the parking lot. She's not wasting your time with the cops of crime. She's not demanding that I be arrested. She was my dentist. Dr. Gloria Nichols was my dentist in this building that Layla Kumar Shah and Neeraj Shah now occupied, demanding I should be arrested. Because she would see people walk through that parking lot all day long. The back window from the Shah law firm flies open. A woman is screaming at me. I don't know what that is. I bring my little guy in, put him on the dog bed. My mom and dad got me. I'll go walk through the parking lot to talk to them. People have to have dialogue. Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah refused to talk to me. They already called the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, and you're on my way to seize my little guy. Do you know, Todd Baxter, people love their dogs? People love their dogs as much as they love their family members. Because what you get from your dog is unconditional love. You sometimes don't get that from your family members. But you get unconditional love from your dog. Your dog is going to love you no matter what you do. And tens of millions of people that own dogs know this fact. Your dog's going to lick you on the face, come sit on your lap and want to be around you and bark and run around you in circles no matter what you do. Unconditional love. And that's the way he was. So your dog brings joy to your life for tens of millions of people. I'm walking in the same way 7 years, 4,000 times. The back window from this Shaw law firm flies open. A woman is screaming at me, and an hour later, I have 2 of your employees here. I go to the door. Animal control's there with a 10-foot pole, and your 2 employees are demanding my dog. Fanatic, degenerate, sociopath, criminal, Todd Baxter. So, and I'm demanding that they prove that they own that land. Why do you think this guy who called the sheriff to seize my dog, named Raj Shah, refuses to open his mouth? Because he doesn't own that land. I talked to Timothy Murphy at the Monroe County Office of Real Property, and he says they don't own that land. Because they don't have the documentation, you fascist stooge, you bald-headed criminal, and that's it. This woman, Layla Kumar Shah, John Pimentel Jr. writes an order of protection for me to avoid Layla Kumar Shah. I'm on the rowing machine to YMCA. I see her in the back. I'm thinking, please stay away from me. She walks up to me, bizarrely points at something next to me. I tell her, what's my name? You know my name. She walks up to a YMCA employee, points at me and says, he doesn't belong to YMCA. This is what he unleashed upon me. And it's still going to you and demanding that I be arrested and concocting charges. And since you're consumed by hatred at the district attorney's and sheriff's office, you're allowing these repulsive human beings, Nayra Shah and Layla Kumar Shah, to do this to me. Elliot Raw, quote, you're going to be arrested, end quote. And you say that to me, Elliot, with a look on your face that I've never seen on the face of anybody, because you know that they came and they put that camera on that building. And they're telling you, Elliot Raw, at the sheriff's office, that they're going to arrest me. Elliot, if I worked at that building and you lived here, I would have came immediately over here, as I've said repeatedly, and said to you, they just put a camera in that building planning to arrest you. And I would have said to you, Broccolo Tree and Lawn Care, this guy Steve Desmond cuts the grass here. And I would have said to you, Elliot, this guy Steve Desmond is going to get together with Shannon Meyer, and they're going to try to get you to come out of the house. When one of the employees for Broccolo Tree and Lawn Care rides his tractor by your residence, he's not cutting grass that day. He's trying to get you to come out of the house. I would say this to you, Elliot, because I believe you have civil and constitutional rights. Steve Desmond, I just mentioned his name. I don't want to open his mail. I'm not just putting that certified mail. He knows I'm demanding from him. Who told you at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office that I was to be arrested? Who did you call? That's what I'm demanding from him. Was it Shannon Meyer? Did you, Steve Desmond, you're copied on this, Lori and Albert Broccolo, did your employee Shannon Meyer, did your employee Steve Desmond call Shannon Meyer with somebody else? Because it was 60 here. Could have been someone else. Elliot again, refused. Demanding a list of cases for John P. Lomenzo Jr. Rejected. I sent this to 4 Forest Grove Court. This guy, guilty, guilty, guilty. I'm demanding in here. He has records. He's no longer on Penfield Town Court. This 7-year-old fossil with 1 foot in the grave. Rejected. Paula Metzler, James P. Melly Jr. I want a list of every case for John P. Lomenzo Jr. I don't care how far back it goes, 5 years, 10 years. In fact, for however long John P. Lomenzo was on Penfield Town Court, day one, I want a list. And you know what? You don't have that at Penfield Town Court. What is the United States Department of Justice going to think? Well, I'm demanding a list of cases for John P. Lomenzo Jr. And you say we don't have that record. We don't have that documentation. We don't have the records. Which is exactly what you're going to say. Is John P. Lomenzo Jr. refused certified mail? Guy writes an order of protection for 2 people I've never met. Here he is again, refused. So I will never cash this check, Todd Baxter. $61.39. It's the money I had in my pocket when the employee attacked and assaulted me at Wegmans. And then I was deposited in front of Paula Metzler. When the prosecutor didn't talk, and I'm in Livingston County. Paula Metzler, why was I in Livingston County? Sheriff Todd Baxter, why was I in Livingston County? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, why was I in Livingston County after your prosecutor didn't talk? How is that explained? Click reply and explain it. What am I doing in Livingston County when I've been a citizen of Monroe County for 9 years? I'm out there in an area that reminded me of rural Kentucky when I was in the 101st Airborne Division. There is nothing out there in Livingston County. I don't know what people even do out there, and I didn't even know Livingston County existed. I had seen these signs, but as far as me knowing a county in New York, like I know Nassau County, Suffolk County, Westchester County, I'm just totally oblivious to Livingston County. Yet there I am, out there in the middle of nowhere when I live in Monroe County. How do you explain that to the United States Department of Justice, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, Sheriff Todd Baxter, bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzler, and James P. Melly Jr. has more hair than bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzler. So comply with everything, and you will refuse. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime.